In the last episode, Negmind and the Reneged had just claimed victory over the Entmoot, taking a large chunk of their systems. Between the Dragon Cult, Error, and the Orb Collective, the galaxy was still full of danger. Let's see how things play out. Uh-oh. All my leaders are starting to die one by one. It's that time of the game.
Oh yeah, it's irritating.
75 years had now passed in the galaxy. Only their leader Negmind had discovered the secret of immortality. Unfortunately, the other leaders throughout our systems were slowly starting to die of old age.
My daddy has a fleet of like 340,000 power.
Is it moving or is it just camping his base?
Chillin'.
My daddy knows karate and he's black belt.
My daddy knows karate, but he's not willing to use it.
During the discussions of deadbeat overlord dads, the Reneged spent most of their time reorganizing the new planets that they had taken from the entmoot. Eager to hear good news regarding Error, Negmind inquired how the war was going. Were you able to help him, Vada?
I'm just finishing off my very slowly building fleets, but yeah, I got about 20k-ish heading that way.
Are you going to last that long safe?
Maybe.
Oh, you like really
he's taking his time. He's not like moving particularly fast.
Alright, cool. I'll just jib across there in a second. It won't take too long.
With the big stick lovers moving in to help out the Kingdom of Hell, we were safe to continue the maintenance of our growing list of worlds that had been a little bit neglected during our multiple wars.
My territory is like so disjointed. To go from one side of my territory to the other, I need to jump through like 3 allied not allied, but like neutral.
Oh, yuck. Hang on, that one in the south, you can just take that, right? Or do I own that? Oh, I own that. Edelimar, right?
That's just because of the way.
No, I think I can give that to you. It looked as though we'd accidentally taken a system belonging to the Kingdom of Hell when we combated Error in the previous war. We had no use for the system, and returning it would push them further into our debt. You can have it back. That's from the time that I came to help you.
Right.
As more time passed and our planet maintenance neared completion, the Reneged looked to use up their stockpiled influence. It was at this point that Negmind realized that in the space of one more war, he would be able to completely wipe out the Entmoot. This would also grant us access to Error's southern border, and an opportunity to chip away at them if necessary to keep our other neighbours alive.
Hey, safe. Look, your daddy's conquering for you.
Technology conceived.
Yeah,
oh,
look.
yes, too.
So you see, I cracked their fleet there and left, and then he came in and followed me.
You did.
So there you go. You're welcome.
I'm just my like last remaining fleet that I was trying to kind of piece together on my shipyard has been wiped out by Error.
Oh, you need some help down south there, by the looks of it, don't you?
Yeah, I shouldn't have moved my fleet to Miha.
Well, I'm gonna come and attack that fleet in the one that just took your little system there. So.
I mean, I'm
coming for your capital, cheeky fuck. Go defend your capital. Go defend your capital, and I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
It sounded as though the combined Stick and Hell forces were going to be successful in fending off Error.
I feel like I'm doing more for you than your daddy.
I don't know what my daddy's
I'm at
doing.
least a creepy uncle at this point. I've taken 2 choke points that will stop them getting through, so you're safe. I'll just keep those territories safe for you as long as you keep giving me science.
All's well that ends well. Through listening in, we intimately knew the weakness of Vada's stick lovers. If a larger conflict ever arose in the galaxy, we would be able to bribe them with our knowledge of science. Negmind still didn't know where our fates would lead us. In a perfect world, the Reneged plantoids would be on every planet in the galaxy. But survival was the top priority, and there were too many dangers still lurking throughout the galaxy, most of which were machines.
Who else is going alright? Orb Collective, are they vassalized a couple? Is that them or?
They're about to be.
In a twist that Negmind hadn't seen coming, Dietz's Church of Scientology, whom we'd barely interacted with so far, was currently in a war with the Orb Collective and threatening to vassalize them. The Orb Collective had already put a claim on one of our systems. The Reneged wasn't sure how the galaxy would change if they were absorbed under Dietz's command.
Where the fuck's Rico? Right down in the bottom there?
Not sure.
It must be. There's
Yes,
only
down
one
the
spot
bottom.
in the map I can't see. It's
Yeah,
down
he's
in
down
the bottom.
They were right. Rico had quietly been eating his way through the southern part of the galaxy to the south of the Dragon Cult. As an annihilator himself, he could cause a greater threat to the galaxy than Error ever had. These robots were bad, but at least we didn't have to worry about any robot bugs.
They know that they can't find my dad.
Galactic anus embraces cybernetics.
AMAD's bugs had fully embraced cybernetic technology. Although they hadn't fully become robot bugs, they were the next closest thing to that. Would there be any pure organic life forms left in the galaxy for the Reneged to turn into plantoids? Only time would tell. Meanwhile, the Leviathan Kingdom of Hell continued to have issues with Error.
This is fast.
It's because they've got like 10,000 power fleets that they're sending through my territory.
Yeah, shit, and no, I can't do anything because I'm in a truce with them.
I think we need to get rid of them. Full stop. Negmind was growing frustrated with not being included in the current main storyline of the galaxy. As interesting as it was to listen in, it would be much more interesting to be participating. There's something the Reneged had to do first though.
Start a bit of a coalition. You don't actually have a border with them, do you?
I will after my next war.
You taking out the entmoot.
Yes, they're about to go bye-bye. They started it.
They're the peaceful tree people.
So am I. As mentioned earlier, taking out the entmoot would give us that border system that would allow us to fight against Error. The entmoot could have been our brothers. They were a fellow plantoid hive mind. Instead, they're going to be a footnote in the history books. So I was with the war with the dragons and the ent guys were trying to gangbang me from the other side. And I didn't appreciate that.
You declared war on Entmoot.
That's right. When Entmoot is gone, I will share a border with Error. Although we had a staggering advantage in power over the Entmoot, we were going to take this war as seriously as any other. Our main targets were their upgraded starports at Felix, Ancastar, Sol, and a further upgraded starhold at Alpha Centauri. They had a fleet each at Felix and Sol, but they were a fraction of our own power. We sent our speedy corvette fleet to the north, and our new cruiser fleet to the south. One thing we did learn in our previous war with the Entmoot was that the system of Felix had a particularly troublesome planet with an extremely powerful defensive presence. Taking that planet would be our greatest challenge in this war.
You want to fight, Ahmad? Say that as a yes.
Hey man, she's stirring again.
He's got a small fleet on my border. So I'm just moving. I don't know, it looks like he's building up, but it's not enough. I don't know, I think he might get
I've been
past.
talking all this time and I was on mute. Can you give me open borders? I want to help save.
Oh, what? To kill you? Okay.
A false alarm, or so it seemed. We already knew Ahmad was a user of psychological warfare. Was he really trying to help? Or had he simply been caught planning to ruin Varda's life forever? Only the bugs knew this answer. Back to the war, we had already swiftly taken all the Entmoot systems. We now had to occupy their planets for our total victory. We took the easy ones first.
Enemy nest taken. Planetary infestation begun. Enemy nest taken.
With all other objectives completed, we had to crack open Felix's trouble planet, Calpravixa. Negmind challenges you to say that 3 times fast. The bombing commenced, slowly whittling down their forces. When the time was right, we'd send our soldiers in to take the planet and end the Entmoot.
Do you need help?
No, I'm fine.
And last time you said that, you were about to die.
I've been destroyed by Error, but my dad is very powerful and he doesn't give a shit. He's currently taking all of my territory back.
A thought had occurred to Negmind. Eventually there would come a time when both the Entmoot and Error had been dealt with. What was the Reneged going to do with the Leviathan Kingdom of Hell after that? Due to their dubious origins, their people and their worlds may not be suitable for our plantoid seeds. We'd spent this much time using them as a defensive shield, maybe there was another way we could use them. Negmind would leave those thoughts for another day. We still had a war to win.
What the fuck? Rick, are you playing a different fucking game or something? What's this you're posting? Are you blowing up?
Organics.
The others may not have understood it, but this had been a warning. Rico was flaunting these images in our group chat, letting us all know that he meant business. He wasn't just capturing planets, he was bombarding them so heavily that he was wiping out all life on them. A war with Rico would be a messy one.
I've not even seen you. How can you be big enough to be blowing anybody up?
From one machine threat to another, Safe's war with Error finally ended.
Oh, peace. Peace in the north.
How did he go away? Yeah, errors.
He's taken my capital and a few of my.
You said you were okay!
I've never been okay.
What? He's taking your capital?
Oh,
Yeah, he took my capital. He's taken most of my
we're trying to help you.
most valuable planets. Oh, it's fine. It's okay.
It's
just
not.
It's part of my narrative.
Okay.
I think in some way Error is like.
Oh, what the fuck? Like, he's literally just come in, took your capital, and left everything else. That's what he was waiting for.
That's
Wow,
right,
that's
what he's waiting
rude.
for. Maybe Error's the good guy, you know, because he took hell. Like.
I feel like we should have done more as a galactic community.
Oh wait,
Well, if
no,
we
I
knew, we would have.
got it back. I don't know what happened then, but I've got it back.
What? Maybe
One
your
this
dad
morning.
threatened him diplomatically or something.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened.
I wouldn't
'Cause it
surprise
went-
me.
Negmind was definitely going to help in the next war against Error. But for now, we had too much influence, so we started making claims on more of the Dragon Cult systems. Haven't heard from them in a while.
Yeah, but
And
somebody
the
else
Reaper
is
is
just,
humiliated.
you've just had another rebellion. Have you seen this? Are you seeing what's going on?
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, that's been brewing for a while. So I've got like a rebellion. I let these humans in out of the kindness of my heart. I let these human refugees
God.
in, and then I set up a colony with the new human refugees in that area. And apparently they don't like the Cenobites ruling them.
I've got border checkpoints between you and your big fucking aggressive superpower enemy to stop them coming at you, and you've got your own people rising up and trying to overthrow you.
Well, those were the human refugees. Those were the human refugees that I let in. I should never.
Even your 500,000 fleet power daddy can't look after you. What's
I don't
going
know, I
on?
don't know where he's gone now. I think. Oh, he's gone home.
He's gonna get cigarettes.
I think he's gonna get a cigarette. He's just fed up with my shit. I think.
After what felt like an eternity, we had weakened the defenses of the Entmoot's last planet to the point that we could invade it successfully. The war was finally over, as was the Entmoot themselves.
Ooh, ominous.
The entmoot is dead.
They had their chance. They chose violence. Didn't work out for them.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
With new systems and planets comes new maintenance. This would keep us busy for the immediate future. That's a lot of new buildings. The war with the Entmoot had granted us 3 more planets for a grand total of 18. Although this kept us busy, we could begin our plans for the future. Our closest choke point to Error was in the Kochab system. We considered adding another defensive starbase here, but we decided against it. When we were ready for war with Error, we would hit hard and fast. As this was the only direction they could access us, our offense would be our defense. Next, if we were to go to war with the Dragon Cult, we already had a fully upgraded star fortress at Khmer. After defeating the Entmoot, we now had to worry about our westernmost edge. To do this, we upgraded the Entmoot's pre-existing starbase at Alpha Centauri. Even though they liked us, the United Nations of Earth were in fact the overlords of the Dragon Cult, and would need to be dealt with as well. If we were able to take their land, as well as the western portion of the Dragon Cult space, it would mean that the choke point of Balesa would now be the singular route for all of the southern galaxy to access our territories. If we achieved this, it would be the perfect defensive bastion. As for the Orb Collective, we already had a star fortress at Avalan, as well as a starbase currently being upgraded in the Scorpio system, along with our emergency star fortress covering Ledameth to the north, and a wormhole located deep in our territory at Havenchir. It wouldn't be easy for any force in the galaxy to enter our space. As a side note, the aforementioned wormhole connected to the other side of the galaxy, within the Clone Theocracy's territory. With all that being said, the Reneged would need to finish fixing up their new planets before they could make their next move.
Meanwhile, what are Error doing? They've got like they've got a 20,000 power fleet at Bastamore.
Bastamore. Oh, really? Just in that little area. I'm about to run out of places to expand.
Why don't you expand out to where Error is, the top left?
Yeah, okay.
Aren't you already the biggest blob on the map?
Yeah, but I mean, then what do you do if you can't get bigger?
You find the next biggest blob.
Well, I think that's Neg. I mean, I've got a safe in between me and him, so...
I doubt it.
Shots fired. Negmind didn't know what was worse, that the big stick lovers were starting to consider us as a threat, or that Rico's determined exterminators were balking at the suggestion that the Reneged were among the stronger members of the galaxy. This really brought things into perspective for Negmind. As Vada had said, we had no direct access to each other's borders, which made any kind of war unrealistic. And although Negmind thought we'd be able to match them in an all-out war, he couldn't deny the massive size of their territories and how dangerous a war like that would be, especially when there were other ways to deal with flat-headed threats like that. The Big Stick's desire for science could be used in our favour in the future. That brings us to Rico. He's been making veiled threats throughout our time in space. He was a danger, but we didn't know enough about him yet. Could we really go into a war with Error, knowing that Rico was eyeing us off from behind, hiding away in his corner of the galaxy? Negmind thought it might be safer to look towards the Dragon Cult first. They were an easier fight than Error, and we couldn't afford to take any military losses at this stage. Coincidentally, Negmind had only just noticed this, but apparently the Dragon Cult were in fact cat people, and not dragons at all. You'd think we would have known that after going to war with them.
The space left on the map that I can't see isn't big enough for you to be the second biggest.
Biggest in in what way?
What, in terms of size?
Oh yeah, size isn't everything.
It looked like we'd managed to go back under the radar. Now their attentions were on each other. That's just how Negmind liked it.
I feel like it's time for me to explore my wormholes, but I don't have wormhole tech. Fuck! Who wants to give me more tech?
Absolutely not.
The Reneged already had access to wormhole tech. We'd remember this trade offer when the time was right.
Oh, you're suddenly diplomatic.
My dad must be so disappointed in me.
Isn't it the other way around? Are you kind of disappointed in your dad?
I mean, hard to be that disappointed with him.
Neg, you got a lot of pops.
Maybe? How much is a lot?
You can see how many pops everybody has. You have 552?
588. Oh, no, you're right. 'Cause some of those are guys that I'm eating at the moment. When the Reneged took ownership of an inhabited planet, a magical thing happened. The population somehow disappeared over time, and new Reneged plantoids would return in their place. Nature is wonderful.
I'm really falling behind now.
Aren't you just building tech anyway?
Well, I've literally not built a single tech building the whole game. I've purposely taken only military techs.
Yeah.
So I'm weirdly kinda like militarily still in it, but in every other way massively crippled. Think like late Soviet Union.
You know what you could do in between this game and the next game? You could have an epiphany. Some kind of evolution. Negmind, through the power of suggestion, was putting his future plans with the big sticks into motion.
Because my options are... Oh, well no, I can still go north and take that little area, but then I run into safe. So then I either have to fight Hamad or safe, and either one of those is going to be basically... I will never have the tech.
I'll be your vassal.
You've already got a fucking overlord.
Well,
He's not a good one.
he's not really receptive to my needs.
Hey Vada, how big's big enough to kill a dragon? I can't remember.
Did he just say dragon? Although it wasn't impossible that there was more than one, the only dragon that Negmind currently knew of was within the Dragon Cult's territory. Were Rico's psychotic robots already planning an expansion north towards our borders? As if one robotic threat wasn't enough.
How soon are we stopping then?
A couple more minutes and I'll be done.
Alright.
And so it was that our first full night of Stellaris came to an end. A lot had happened. 3 episodes worth, in fact. The Reneged had come a long way, as had all the other civilizations in the galaxy. Allegiances had changed over time, enemies had become friends, and friends had become enemies. With access to stronger fleets than we'd ever had before, as well as the potential for powerful new technologies on the horizon, there was sure to be fireworks to come for the Reneged. The only question would be, would these players be capable enough of organising another night to continue this deadly game of Stellaris? We'll have to wait and see. Until next time, Neckmind wishes you well.